Welcome back to Joyful Clicks. Y'all picture this. Bucks Peak, Idaho, a place where the air is crisp and the mountains stand tall, casting long shadows over the valleys below. Mountains so high they touch the heavens, or at least that's what it felt like. These peaks were our guardians, our silent watchers, standing resolute through the seasons. That's where I grew up, amongst folks who believed the end of days was just around the corner. Our community was tight-knit, bound by shared beliefs and a common way of life. My daddy, he was a God-fearing man, distrustful of the government and book learning. He believed in the old ways, in the strength of a man's hands and the wisdom of the good book. We lived off the land, mama's herbs and daddy's junkyard our only provisions. Every day was a lesson in survival, in making do with what we had. Schoolin' was done at home, mama teaching us what she knew from the Bible, and daddy preaching self-reliance. Our education was unconventional, but it was all we knew. Life was hard, but we were family, bound by love and loyalty. We faced each challenge together, drawing strength from one another. Never questioned daddy's ways, never doubted his word. His voice was the law, his teachings the gospel we lived by. We worked alongside him, dismantling cars, the scent of rust and gasoline our constant companion. Each piece of scrap metal was a puzzle, each broken engine a challenge to overcome. Accidents were commonplace, burns and cuts our badges of honor. Each scar told a story, each injury a testament to our resilience. Daddy always said pain was weakness leaving the body, and we believed him, heart and soul. His words were our mantra, his lessons our guide. Our days were filled with chores and scripture, Mama's gentle hymns a soothing contrast to Daddy's thunderous pronouncements. Her voice was a balm, a reminder of the softer side of life. The world outside Bucks Peak seemed a million miles away, a distant echo we were taught to fear. We were isolated, but in our isolation, we found a sense of belonging, a place where we felt we truly belonged. Evenings were spent around the fire, sharing stories and dreams. Those moments of warmth and togetherness were the glue that held us together, the light in the darkness of our challenging lives. Despite the hardships, there were moments of joy, simple pleasures that made life worth living. Running through the fields, feeling the sun on our faces, and knowing that, no matter what, we had each other. Our faith was our anchor, the foundation upon which our lives were built. We prayed together, worked together, and faced the world together, united in our belief and our love for one another. As the sun set over the mountains, casting a golden glow over our home, we found peace in the knowledge that, come what may, we were a family, strong and unbreakable. Life on the mountain was all I knew. The towering peaks, the endless sky, and the rugged terrain were my playground, my sanctuary. Every day, I woke up to the crisp mountain air, the scent of pine, and the distant call of an eagle soaring high above. The rhythm of the seasons, the whisper of wind through the pines, the changing colors of the leaves. It was a symphony of nature that played in the background of my life. Each season brought its own beauty and challenges, from the vibrant greens of spring to the stark, silent snows of winter. The clang of metal in my daddy's junkyard. It was my world, my reality. The junkyard was a chaotic maze of discarded machinery, rusted car parts, and twisted metal. It was a place where the past was dismantled and repurposed, where every piece of scrap had a story to tell. We were told the world outside was evil, filled with temptations that would steal your soul. Our community was small, tight-knit, and isolated. We lived by a strict code, guided by the teachings of our elders and the scriptures that were read to us every Sunday. Sundays were spent in prayer, huddled around Mama as she read from the scriptures. Her voice, gentle and soothing, was like a balm to our weary souls. She spoke of love, faith, and redemption, painting a picture of a world where goodness prevailed. Her voice, soft as a summer breeze, brought comfort. It was a stark contrast to the harsh realities of our daily lives, a reminder that there was still beauty and hope in the world. But Daddy's interpretations, filled with fire and brimstone, instilled fear. His sermons were intense, his words like thunder, warning us of the dangers that lurked beyond our mountain home. He spoke of sin, punishment, and the wrath of God, painting a picture of a world fraught with peril. As I grew older, the weight of Daddy's words pressed down on me. I began to question the world I had always known, to wonder if there was more beyond the mountains. The fear he instilled in us was like a shadow, always lurking, always present. He spoke of government conspiracies, of the end times, of the importance of self-sufficiency. His words were filled with paranoia and distrust, painting a picture of a world on the brink of collapse. We were taught to be prepared for anything, to rely on ourselves and no one else. His words were law, his beliefs our gospel. To question him was to question the very foundation of our lives, the principles that had been drilled into us since birth. To question him was to question God himself. It was a heavy burden to bear, the weight of his expectations and the fear of divine retribution. Work in the junkyard was hard, unforgiving. The days were long, the labor backbreaking. We toiled under the hot sun, our hands calloused and our bodies weary. The metal was heavy, the air thick with the smell of gasoline and sweat. It was a harsh, gritty world, far removed from the idyllic beauty of the mountains that surrounded us. We were expected to work as hard as the boys, no complaints, no excuses. There was no room for weakness, no time for rest. We were all cogs in the machine, each of us playing our part in the relentless grind of daily life. But sometimes when Daddy wasn't looking, I'd sneak glances at the tattered books in his shed, remnants of a world he shunned. Those books were my window to a different reality, a glimpse of a life beyond the mountains. They spoke of places I'd never seen, ideas I'd never considered, and dreams I'd never dared to dream. Change arrived on the mountain in the form of my brother Tyler. He was a force of nature, a whirlwind of ideas and dreams that clashed with the rigid traditions of our family. He was different, always had been. While the rest of us were content with the familiar rhythms of life on Buck's Peak, Tyler's mind wandered far beyond the confines of our secluded world, quiet and thoughtful, with a thirst for knowledge that even Daddy's pronouncements couldn't quench. He would spend hours lost in books, absorbing every bit of information he could find, his eyes lighting up with every new discovery. He dared to dream of a life beyond Buck's Peak, a life filled with learning and exploration. He would often talk about the places he wanted to visit, the things he wanted to learn, and the people he wanted to meet. One day, Tyler announced he was leaving, going to college. It was a decision that shook the very foundation of our family, a declaration of independence that none of us had seen coming. It was like a bomb had exploded in our midst. The news reverberated through our home, leaving a trail of shock and disbelief in its wake. Daddy was furious, his anger a physical presence. He couldn't understand why Tyler would want to leave, why he would turn his back on the life that had been laid out for him. Mama wept, torn between her love for her son and her loyalty to her husband. She tried to reason with Tyler, to make him see the pain his decision was causing, but his mind was made up. Tyler's departure left a void on the mountain, but it also planted a seed of doubt in my heart. I began to question the life we were living, the beliefs we held so dear. If Tyler, our own flesh and blood, could choose a different path, maybe there were other ways of living, other truths to be discovered. His courage to defy the norm made me wonder about the world beyond our mountain. That seed, once planted, began to grow. It took root in the fertile soil of my curiosity, nourished by the stories Tyler would send back from college. I started paying more attention to the whispers from the outside world, the ones that seeped in through the cracks of our isolated existence. I listened to the radio, read books that Tyler sent me, and slowly, my perspective began to shift. The world didn't seem so evil anymore. Not if it held spaces for people like Tyler to learn and grow. It was a place of possibilities, a place where dreams could be pursued and knowledge could be gained. And so, the seed of doubt blossomed into a yearning for something more, a desire to explore the world beyond Buck's Peak. Despite my lack of formal education, I developed a thirst for knowledge. I began teaching myself math and grammar by reading books and studying for the ACT. College experience. At 17, I enrolled at Brigham Young University. This was my first exposure to formal education and a more diverse worldview. I faced challenges adapting to academic life, grappling with my family's beliefs and my own emerging identity. Struggles with family. As I pursued my education, tensions grew with my family, particularly with my father and brother, who held strong, often dangerous beliefs. My journey of self-discovery often put me at odds with my family's values, leading to emotional turmoil. Academic achievements. I excelled in my studies, eventually earning a scholarship to study at Harvard and later completing my PhD at Cambridge. My academic journey opened my eyes to new ideas and perspectives, further distancing me from my upbringing. Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if you like this content. Whether you're looking for timeless classics or modern masterpieces, we will help you discover the insights and stories that make these books unforgettable. Stay tuned for engaging summaries that will inspire your reading journey. See you in the next video.